Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production.
Joining us today on the Hoop Dreams podcast, today is a McDonald's All-American, University of Missouri, all-time leaders, not just in points, but also free throws. 2016 SEC Freshman of the Year, 2019 All-SEC SEC Tournament Team and First Team, drafted 13th overall by the Phoenix Mercury, and even does some work on the mic for ESPN covering the women's SEC and NCAA tournament. Columbia's very own, let me get it straight, Missouri's very own Sophie Cunningham joining us on the Hoop Dreams podcast today. I'm your dog, Will Gates, and that's my guy,
Arthur AG, and we in the building.
We're so glad to have you on the show. And AG and I, we always ask this question, but I got to ask you a question before I ask you the question. The question first is, because, you was born, 1996-ish. Have you seen the movie Hoop Dreams?
Oh, I'm starting off strong on this podcast, but no. I have a lot of older friends who have, and they're like, I told them I was going to be on this podcast, and they're like, no way. And I was like, yeah. And so I looked it up on YouTube. I've seen the trailer, and I need to watch it. 100% need to watch it.
We won't ask you that question, but what we are going to do is we're going to jump right into this thing then, but we're going to hold you to that promise to watch the movie because we do want to get your thoughts on it. You were born and raised in Columbia, Missouri. Beautiful city. Talk to us a little bit about where you're from and what it's like to grow up. Because one of the things we do with our podcast is everybody has an origin story. We want to know the Sophie Cunningham. What's your origin story? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I grew up here, born and raised. My sister and whole family was actually, and so the Missouri is kind of just in our blood. But I actually grew up on a farm about 20 minutes away from Columbia, and we had, 25 horses. My dad had his own business. He was a contractor. My mom worked for the governor here. And so me and Lindsay, that's my sister, we played every sport possible growing up. And we were, she's my best friend. We were tied to the hip, and we were always on the guys teams because we were just too physical and too big to be on the girls teams. And so I think that kind of is our country strong, is we're a little feisty. We're built different out on the farm, and we eat different. But so when we got a little older, we moved to Columbia. Which it's 20 minutes away. It's not that big a deal. And went to Rockbridge High School and won 4 state championships, and committed out of the 8th grade to go to Mizzou. And I live, 6 minutes away from the university. My grandpa, uncle, aunt, mom, sister, dad, and all of us played sports at the University of Missouri. So it's just black and gold's kind of in our bloodstream.
Wow.
So all they need is a WNBA team in Missouri, and you would have been just like...
I've been all over that. And I hope Kansas City gets one, because that'd be awesome.
Already that sets you apart, because when you say growing up on a farm, you actually mean growing up. You got chickens too? Like a farm.
We never had chickens, but our grandparents had a whole bunch of cattle, and they farm around 5,500 acres of soybeans and corn. So
really?
We've actually helped out with harvest the past couple of years because of COVID, and I've never done that, but that stuff is hard. I've been through some tough workouts. I thought I was about to die multiple times, but being a farmer is completely different. So a lot of respect for them. That's
early in the morning, up at dawn. Don't get finished till probably 8 or 9 at night.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's gotta be tough.
Yeah.
What's so amazing is that you, just hearing you right now, it's like your life has been based in Missouri. That's your world. That's what you did. But give us a little bit. What was it like being a kid growing up there? I mean, I know you had the farm life, but you and your sister, how was that every day? Because Missouri, I mean, they call it the show me state, but when you're growing up on the farm, what are you showing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. But no, we spent a lot of time playing sports, like I said. And so Columbia is a great town to raise kids, have a family, all that type of stuff. But we started AAU ball in the 6th grade. And so we were traveling all around the country already. And as much of a blessing it is to be from here, it's also kind of a curse because you don't have, the best trainers. Your parents around here aren't typically professional athletes like the kids on the East and West Coast or that type of thing. So there's a lot of blessings in it, but there's also a lot of struggles where you have to just work extra hard to get maybe the attention you deserve. And so I've kind of felt like I've always been the underdog, but my blue collaredness has always, kind of set me apart because I always outwork my opponents, and I give props to, this town because I did have to work extra hard because you just don't have that attention. Like kind of Chicago has a great basketball world, but where I'm from, it's kind of unheard of. So I had to travel to Kansas City for practice, 3 times a week in order to get to where I'm at. So
How far of a drive was that?
It's about 2 hours. And honestly, I'm someone who, when I'm in the gym, I go 110%, but then I'm going to the pool. I'm going to go hang out with friends. I'm out riding 4-wheelers or horses or something. I have nothing to do with basketball. And so they didn't make me always go to practice because they kind of knew my skill. And so I kind of got out of a bunch of it. But when I was there, I had to drive 2 hours.
Growing up, did you have a hoop on the farm?
Yeah, all my teammates think that I grew up in a barn with hay. Like it's a normal community around here. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
no, we had a basketball on both farms, honestly, and so it's fun. I mean, we had like kind of a normal life, and it was fun just kind of being away from everything because we had a bunch of land.
Mm-hmm.
We played soccer, volleyball, swimming, all of that type of stuff. So we had a good childhood.
How many sisters, brothers you have?
Just me and my sister. There's just 2 of us. So yeah, we're best friends.
How far are y'all apart?
She is 2 years by age, but 3 in school. So
okay,
yeah.
Okay, well, you got to break this one thing down for me because you said during COVID you was out there on the farm helping. I mean, for the viewers, for me, break that down. Like, what time you get up? What were you doing? And when did it end?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm being honest. I have never farmed. Like when I say I was raised on a farm, we were just out in farmland. But I was not waking up at 5 a.m. milking cows.
Right.
Like we didn't have any of that. But this time I was surprised. It was kicking my butt. I'm not joking. And I'm the youngest one out there helping. But we had to get up at 6 a.m. because during harvest, you just have to get it out. Like you have to get the beans out, you have to get the corn out, or else it'll rot and it'll be weird. I don't know. I'm not good at the terminologies because clearly I don't do this stuff. But no, you get up at 6 a.m. and my grandparents' farm is around 35 minutes away. And so we would head out there and they would have the combine and that's what cuts the corn or the beans. And then they put it in the grain cart. So that was me and my sister. So the grain would come into our cart and then we would haul the grain into a semi truck. And so we'd dump it in there. But so we were the ones kind of going back and forth, but we were there from 6 a.m. until sometimes 1 a.m, just depending on what day. And our grandparent or our grandpa is 75 years old and that's nothing for him. And me and Lindsay are we need coffee, we need McDonald's, we need coffee because this is not working.
In the community you grew up, when did you started getting into basketball? How old were you? And better than that, where did you discover the game?
I ask my parents all the time, but since I was little, I was already playing with the basketball. That was just kind of my thing. And from a young age, when people are what do you want to be? People are always oh, we want to be a firefighter. You want to be a nerd, whatever. I was no, I'm being a professional athlete. I will be in the WNBA. That's my dream. And when I kind of put my mind to something, I go for it. I go all in. And so that was my thing. So I think from a young age, that's what I was doing. And, around the 3rd and 4th grade, I knew that I was different. I was built different. I had just had something different inside of me, a little feistiness. And even with the guys, I was beating the guys at school. And of course they're oh, you're just big. You're just tall. That's why you're good. And I was no, I'm kicking your ass. You just suck. You know what I mean? But yeah. So just from a young age, I just knew.
Was your sister playing basketball too? What was that sibling rivalry like?
Oh my gosh. So we played every night. And there was one of us coming in crying, and then 5 minutes later we'd be back out there, So
Yeah.
yeah, that type of relationship, which it's great. But we actually played in high school together, and then we got 2 years at Mizzou together. So we've had a
Really?
fun journey. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that had to be amazing.
Yes,
So
yes.
fun. It was so fun.
Now, is your sister still currently playing now?
She could have, but she decided to go a different route, and she's into medical sales now. So,
Oh,
yeah, shoot,
beautiful.
I'll be moving in with her before she moves in with me. So
Right.
I should have maybe gone that route.
But it's beautiful that y'all got the opportunity to play together. I mean, those memories will forever last. Bragging rights.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
We always ask the question like, what playgrounds did you go play at? What basketball courts that you honed your skills on? Did you have any of those? And if so, what were the names of them?
Yeah, so we did, and it's kind of weird now because I hate these baskets now. But it was the double or triple rims with like the chain hoops or the chain nets.
Yes.
But that's what we grew up on, and it was so fun because we'd have the whole neighborhood out there, just running games and doing whatever, which was fun because we mainly had girls on our team, and we'd be kicking the dudes' butts, and so it was just great. No offense, I know you guys are dudes, but
No, that's all right. What's the name of that park? What's the name of the park?
So we had one is called Foxwood, and Foxwood, and then there's one up here. It's called Rockbridge Elementary. So there's a lot of courts actually around Columbia. So real fun.
When the Cunningham sisters walked up on the court, they already knew the deal, didn't they? You see the laugh, AG? You see the laugh?
Yeah.
They already knew the deal when the Cunningham sisters showed up.
Like, look, they looking like, who got the tall one? They all tall. Like, what do you mean? Who got the tall one? They all tall.
Right. Did they ever try to split you guys up, though?
Oh, yeah. I mean, but it was all good. All good.
Always.
Now, see, the playgrounds we grew up on, it was important for us, to have a nickname. Did you have a nickname coming up?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. I mean, my nickname now is Sweet Sophie, but that's very sarcastic, sweet, because
you got to explain that.
Yeah, so I love everyone. I love people. Whatever. I'm involved in the community. So outside the court, I'm just a normal, nice person, I would guess. But on the court, I'm just I'm kind of a bee. I get it. I'm feisty. I'm a little bit of a dog, and so I got the nickname of Sweet Sophie because I'm not.
You know what they saying, AG? They saying she a sheep in wolf's clothing. That's all I heard.
Wolf's clothing.
That's all I heard. She out there like, hey, how you doing? You get on the court.
A rabid German shepherd.
That's right. So growing up, who were the well-known ballers, either from the city you came from, the town, the neighborhood, and who did you look up to when you were growing up?
It's weird because we really didn't have anyone to look up to here. And, my parents played in college, so if anything, it was them. But I mean, we had Cream Rush was, at Mizzou, and we grew up going to all the games, and that was like me and Lindsay's favorite player. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't even know what he looks like now, but
actually he did the show for us.
Did he really?
Yeah, he still looks great.
Oh, I love that. That is so fun. I love that. But I mean, I was, 3-4 years old, but I just will always remember his name. And he was a hooper. He's a baller. And so growing up, you really didn't have a lot of people from here to look up to. But now I know, like Maya Moore is from here. And so kind of the older I got and knew what route I wanted to go, I was kind of looking at her a little bit. But she went off to UConn, and I could have gone that route and whatever. But I just felt like, I wanted to put Mizzou women's basketball on the map. I needed people to kind of be like, hey, I can do that too. I'm from here. I might be from a farm. I look like her. Like I can do what she's doing. And so I would say, Maya Moore, Michael Porter Jr., we grew up together here. He's plays for the Nuggets. And so I would say, but I mean, he's younger than me. We grew up together. And so there's really not a lot of big names, but there's starting to be, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, one of my good friends I played basketball with at Middle Area Junior College, Corey Tate.
Yeah,
you ever heard of that name?
I know Corey Tate. I know him. Yeah,
that's my Middle Area Junior College brother. He actually came. He was supposed to go to Mizzou out of high school, but he came to junior college with us for 2 years, and he was an All-American. Then he went right to Mizzou and went right in starting and everything.
Yeah,
Big point guard, 6'4". Yeah.
No, I know him. That's so awesome. I didn't know y'all were teammates. That's great.
So when you was growing up, who did you mimic your game after?
That's a good question because I really don't know. I think that my sister is 2 years older, and so I was always trying to be like her, and I hate to lose. And I was, always practicing with her teams, if that was soccer, basketball, whatever sport. And so I always just had I had to find a way to win because they were older girls, they were bigger, and so I think that's kind of where I got my dog and my feistiness because I am super competitive, so I don't like to lose, and so I had to find a way to be successful against them. So I kind of owe, all of my success to all those girls who were pushing me to be my best self when I was, 6 years old. And
wow.
So if anything, it was my sister who I wanted to be like.
Love it.
So you were playing with older girls, and you were you was getting your butt kicked and probably holding your own. But do you think that helped you as you got further along into your basketball career?
Yeah, 100%. And our parents were our coaches here. Because my parents were pretty good hoopers too, and they I was just always tagging along with Lindsay at her practices, at her games, and they kind of just threw me into the fire. But 100%, that's what made me better. And playing with the guys, that also makes you better. I mean, they're just more athletic, they're better, and I learn a lot from them when I play with them. And so yeah, absolutely. When you're thrown into a situation where you're not as developed as other people, then of course you're going to have to learn how to be a little feisty and be successful.
Awesome.
So we want to jump into your high school years. What was it like at Rockbridge High School? And truly, and give me the year, particularly because you're kind of like my son's age. What was playing on the Disney and Nickelodeon when you were in high school?
Oh my God.
What's your thing?
I didn't really watch Disney when I was in high school, but I think there's still Hannah Montana and Even Stevens and stuff like that. I don't know. I have no idea. but that's, I'm assuming, what would be on.
So what was that Rockbridge High School like? What are some of the memories that you still laugh? It just pops in your head. You think about it.
Yeah, so it's a public high school, but we got really lucky. We had 7 D1 players on our public school team. So wow. I actually won 4 state championships in high school, which was kind of fun. But we did get lucky. But we just had a good group of girls. I'm still best friends with them now, and we just had great memories. A lot of people don't have 7 D1 players on their, high school team, especially from where I'm at. So we dominated.
Wow.
We know the ball. We know y'all was killing, but what was high school like for Sophie Cunningham walking through the hallways, going to class? What you do for fun? What was that like? The high school years.
Oh, it was so fun. I don't know if I'm allowed to be saying what I was doing then, but we had our fun. We went to bonfires all the time. There's back roads here. We had our fun that way, but we had a good group. This community is so fun. We had good teachers, all that stuff. But honestly, I think I got out of a lot of stuff because of basketball. When you kind of run the school, you kind of get to do what you want a little bit. But fun fact, I actually just got my high school diploma 2 months ago because I didn't turn in a calculator. So as much as I thought I was running stuff, I wasn't.
It was we want our calculator back.
That's right. That's right.
You will not be getting this diploma until we get our calculator back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Rockbridge High School. Who were y'all rivals? 4 state championships, Sophie. That's freshman year, sophomore, junior, senior. 4 state championships. Most people don't even get to sniff one.
Yeah. I think we had St. Louis teams because St. Louis and Kansas City is actually in the state of Missouri, and a lot of people don't know that. And so we had a lot of those really good Kansas City teams that we were going against, the Blue Springs area. And then Nafisa Collier, she's actually also in the WNBA, but she was in a school in St. Louis called Incarnate Word. And so those were our big rivals, and we were right in the middle.
Was it any top-notch girl on either of those teams that you was I got to show my ass to her today? I got to put my foot on her neck.
Oh, of course. And that was every game. Even if the girl wasn't good, I was still having that mentality. You know what I mean? I don't know why. But that's just how I am. When I'm in between the lines, I'm just, it's different. And you guys know, it's just a different type of vibe and ego a little bit. And so,
Explain that a little bit to the listeners. What does that mean to be in between the lines? Because a lot of folks, they hear us talk about that, but they don't understand it. Explain that a little bit.
yeah, in between the lines is just like when you get in the lines of a basketball court. And I think especially for women and young girls, that, people, they don't have that confidence. They don't have that swag. They think they don't know if it's okay to sweat or work hard or kind of, it's not cocky, it's confidence, but you have your shoulders back and you know that you're going to bust that girl's butt. You know what I mean? And so, and for me, I try to preach that to young girls and young boys too, that like, it's okay to sweat. It's okay to work hard and kind of be like the guys, you know what I mean? Like give that elbow.
Yeah.
Someone's walking by, elbow them right in the gut. And that's kind of how I've always been. And that's got me in trouble multiple times. And now I'm getting fined for it. So I'm starting to like chill out a little bit.
She's like, I ain't come here to get them my money.
Yeah, right. And so just in between the lines, it's just a different type of focus. It's a different type of mentality for me.
So one of the other things I wanted to ask you, because, you're in high school, but interesting enough, you said earlier that you committed to Mizzou in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Even though you couldn't sign, were there any other schools, or you just blocked everything out? It was like, it's Mizzou or bust.
Right. I'm putting them on the map.
Yeah. So that was my mentality at, in 8th grade. I was like, honestly, this program is not great. And with the team I know that we could have, I was like, we could really put Mizzou women's basketball on the map, and I want to lead the charge in it. And I was in 8th grade. Looking back, I was like, what the hell was I doing? You know what I mean? But,
Right.
I skipped the whole recruiting process, which is great. I guess a lot of people, it's stressful for them and whatnot, but I was verbally committed. But I mean, every school possible was still trying to get a hold of me. But my parents just was like, hey, you got a letter from UConn, Notre Dame. I was like, throw it away. Like I'm not doing that. So.
Wow.
So you about to go to Missouri and about to change this whole program. Was there any girls in high school that you were friends with that said, hey, let's go to Mizzou together, or saw you go and was like, I want to play with her, I'm going to Mizzou?
Absolutely. So actually Michael Porter Jr.'s sisters both went to Mizzou. So, yes. And they're, that Bree and Sierra, still great friends with them. They're 6'4", 6'3", lanky, can shoot, they're just like Mike. And so we all decided together, we're like, we're going to do this. And actually their aunt is our head coach, was the head coach at Mizzou. So it's kind of family ties.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was a good recruiting thing too. On the road in AAU circuit, I would see a girl who was real good. I was like, hey, I'm going to Mizzou. We could do something special. So we actually got some kids that way too. But
yes.
So it was fun, but it also kind of bit me in the butt too, because when, for the All-American games and for rankings and whatnot, they see where you're committed. And so for Mizzou not being a great school at the time, I had to just work extra hard again, because I just didn't have that UConn, that Notre Dame, the Texas, so as much as it was a blessing, it's kind of bit me in the butt sometimes too. So
what was your ranking when you came out?
I think I was, oh my gosh, that was so long ago. I think I was maybe 14th in the nation and one or two in my position.
My goodness. So take us to the first day. You're at campus, you're at Mizzou. I'm sure you've been there before, but it's nothing like official. You are a freshman. What was the vibe like when you got on campus, knowing that this is the real thing now? What was that like?
I was just ready. Like I was having a blast in college. I know Mizzou is like the number 2 party school in the whole nation.
Yes, it is.
That gives you any vibes.
Yes,
so,
yes it is.
You know that.
Yes, it is.
And so, we all had a lot of fun. We had a good balance. But no, I think I did have a lot of fun, but I just had a different mentality because I knew I wanted to change this program around. And when you're 18 years old, at the time, I didn't really realize what I was doing. But I was like, nothing is going to get in my way of doing this. And so I was focused, and honestly, I was not the best in school, and everyone knows that, but I wish I would have been better.
Hey, that's okay. Me neither. I was not the best in school neither.
No, I mean, I went to college so I could play pro. So that was my mentality, honestly.
I like that because most people don't understand about a tunnel vision mentality of saying like, there's going to be a lot of distractions along the way, but I have to be that mentally tough and that mentally strong to not fall into those, those things to take me off of my tunnel vision of this one goal I need.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And even when we were out or wherever in the community, people know who you are. And so you always, you got to watch yourself. Like you're carrying a different type of, pressure or opportunity, you could call it, on your shoulders. And so you couldn't just be acting a fool wherever you're, kind of inspiration to younger kids. So you just always kind of had to watch yourself. But I mean, that's part of it. And I mean, looking back, I wouldn't change a thing. So.
Yeah, but you came in different. I mean, you came in instantly needing to be the savior of the program. I guess I'm asking you, did you have time to be Sophie? Because like you just said, everybody was, the pressure was on you or the opportunity. You felt that. You walked on campus. I'm sure that wasn't a normal process. Did your sister play a role in just helping you be a regular college student since she was already there?
I feel like I was me. And I think that's what people don't get is I never felt those pressures. Like that's what I wanted. Like I feel like I was built for it. But my sister, I mean, they'll say it over there too. She's one of the best leaders you'll ever be around. And I'm pretty stubborn. And she was like kind of one of the only ones that I would listen to on the court. And she had to check me a couple times off the court, which I needed. But no, it was good. And I was always myself. But I mean, sometimes in situations you do just need someone to lean on, but she was my person. And so she showed me the ropes, and I pushed those players who were already there to be better because we had to be better. And so it was a good balance between her helping me out, but me also kind of setting the new standard. And of course you can't do it by yourself, so it was good to have her by my side.
Absolutely.
What was that Mizzou first practice like when you walked in and put on that practice uniform and you go out there on that floor and you warming up? You like, oh shit, I'm here. Like I'm gonna let everybody know on the team on the first day. I'm diving for loose balls. I'm kicking your ass. We might get into a fight in practice. I'm just letting y'all know this how I'm gonna roll.
Okay, it's funny you said that because my first practice we got in a fight. There's a fight.
I hit it on the head. I knew it.
Everything you said, I was like, did someone already tell him this story? So no, we did. But it was the best thing that could happen to our team because we were all dogs. We were all, blue collar. No one was fancy. Like no one, like we were all there for the same reason. And that's why everyone hated us in the SEC because we did not look the part. We were not the most athletic, but we would beat people, and that's why people hated Mizzou at the time. And I love it. Oh God, I love
Sophie,
it.
Sophie, you know we can't let you skip over that. You trying? Adrian, did you see she tried to just slap?
Just leaped over that like.
We want to know. Okay, how the fight start? Who was it? And are y'all still cool? we want the dirt on that.
Yes, she was my post player. She was our five, and she's a beast. And her name's Jordan Frericks, and we actually played each other in high school, so we already knew each other. But coming in, you don't want freshmen kind of running the ship. Like you want them to be like follow me, and I'm like, no, like what you guys are doing here is not working. Like this is what we're gonna do. And we were playing 5-on-5 and coaches weren't there, and it just started to get real physical. And because she's a big girl, like she's strong. Like looking back, I'm like, what the hell was I ever thinking? But I just don't. I mean, she doesn't back down. I don't back down. But it just started to get like pretty dirty. And finally, one of our coaches came out and. She's like, everyone get your asses in the locker room now. And we were like, oh shit, like, hey, are you okay? Sorry. But it was good for our team because we competed and we didn't back down from each other in practice. But then we just left it on the court. You left it in the lines, and that's what made us so good because we knew how to leave it there. And a lot of teams don't. So it wasn't that crazy, but we did. There was a little fight, but it was fun.
She said, "Little fight."
It sounds like your team was like the 1989-90 Detroit Pistons in the NBA with Isaiah Thomas and them and all them guys. Bad boy.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm for it. I loved it.
Talk to us a little bit about the relationship between you and head coach Robin. What was that like?
It was good. I mean, she's honestly a farm girl too, so she has that country strong, that blue collarness of just having to work extra hard to get to where she's at. But we have a great relationship. She was a great coach. She knew where to meet me where I was at. But she also knew that like I wasn't even though she was the head coach, I had all the respect for her. We had a good mutual respect, but we butted heads sometimes because I'm like, that's not working. We got to do something else. So we had that bond, and all the coaches at Mizzou, they were just cool people. They made sure that we were set up after the ball stops bouncing. And looking back now, I think that's the best thing that a coach can do is, make sure you're your best self on the basketball court, but more importantly, like in life, like how are you going to be after the ball stopped bouncing? And we still talk pretty much every day. And, maybe one day I'll go back and coach. I don't know. But when we were in it together, and, people didn't like her either in the SEC. So we got along perfectly.
Everywhere they went, yeah, there go the Missouri girls. Here they come. I love it, though. I love it.
Sophie, let me tell you about this. So I'm in I leave Middle Area Junior College and I go to Arkansas State University. So my junior year, we do these non-conference games, and Missouri was one of our teams that we had to go up and play. So they, we went up there. They paid us some money to beat our ass by 30. Devin Booker's dad, Melvin Booker, talking shit to me the whole game, and I'm like, damn. And he a senior at this point. So it got him, Javon Crudup, one of the other dudes that we know was on their team. I think y'all call them the damn Antlers.
Oh, yeah, the Antlers.
Damn Antlers. Hey, Will, they sitting like this with the Antlers, bro. They are on every player when you come off the bench. Yes. Oh, he's not going to do anything. Sit down. They got their little thing going. I'm like, damn, you got to play against the crowd, the Antlers, the referees, and the other team.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they're still around.
Are they?
Oh, yeah. They do their research. Oh, yeah. I try to be one, but they're like, girls aren't allowed, because I'd fit right in with that guy. But I'm like, come on, but no, they're great.
They was all going, William Gates, he sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on? You ain't even play yet.
Oh, I know. So
look, when it came to the games at Mizzou, I mean, because you said the program wasn't that good when you got there. So what was the support like for the women's basketball team on that rise? Did you see things changing?
100%. So honestly, at our Rockbridge high school games, we are, a lot of people didn't want to come here because, we're kind of in the middle of, we're 2 hours from Kansas City, we're 2 hours from St. Louis. So people don't want to travel to us. Plus we were really good during the time. And so every time we had a home game, our people were out the door. Like our gym was packed. People were standing everywhere. So it was like a really fun environment. And then you'd go over to the Mizzou games, and we had more people at our high school games than at Mizzou. And so,
wow.
Yeah. And so we're like, well, I was like, that's got to change, because that when the crowd is good and people are in the stands, you kind of have a little different vibe about yourself.
Yep.
And we, actually, there wasn't a lot of people there, but every year, there's just more and more people. And I think when I was there, we averaged around 8,000 to 9,000 at our games. There was one game where we got, over 12,000 people and set the record for attendance for men and women for a really long time. Of course, you just saw it keep going and get bigger, and the community support around here was awesome. But we were out in the community a lot too, and we made sure that we did our part to get people in the stands to show off our talent, because for the women's game is just different than the men. You're not going to see dunking. You're not going to be doing all this stuff, but it's just as fun to watch if you can get people in the stands. So our parents know a lot of people around the community, and they did their part of getting people in the stands too. And once they were there, people would keep coming back. And so it was just getting their foot in the door. But yeah, from my freshman to my senior year, the crowds just kept getting bigger and bigger.
What about the support from the university itself? Did you see a difference in how? And I'm asking this simply because we just saw what happened during the NCAA tournament last year, and the men's weights and the women's weight. Did you see any of those things happening at Mizzou?
No, they took really good care of us, and of course, the better that you are, you get more perks, and you get more attention, more money, all that stuff. So you have to do your part too. And I don't even know if we made money over there, but when we were winning, we'd get more stuff. And I mean, you like that, right? You get better shoes, you get better sweatshirts, you get all that stuff. But when we went to the NCAA tournament, we didn't even have a weight room. So I didn't even think about,
right.
I didn't think about that. We didn't have a weight room. We didn't do anything. So
Wow.
but I didn't even notice it until, I saw their weight room and I was like, dang. And then I thought about it, I'm like, shit, we didn't even have one. So
Mm-hmm.
at least y'all had tiny weights. I don't know.
Now, Missouri school itself is a pretty much well funded school. So, did you like the amenities? Like you guys' student hangout center,
Mhm.
y'all practice. How was that?
Yeah. So we had a great practice facility. We had a great weight room. It was actually all just redone 2 years before I got there. So it's still pretty new. If your football team's good, then everyone else is going to be good. And we were
Oh,
good,
yeah.
and then we slowly declined. It was like, hey, y'all need to get your shit together so we can have the perks too. And
That's right.
but no, our food was good. Our hangouts were awesome. All teams got along, and I mean, y'all know that athletes you're a big family when
Yep.
you're all together all the time, and so they
Absolutely.
took good care of us over there.
So you're playing in the Southeastern Conference. What were some of the toughest arenas you had to play in?
I would probably say Texas A&M. I don't know if their arena was tough, but we would always get I forgot. I think they called the 12th man. I think
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's when all of their people come, and it was always our game that they would come, and it was wild. It was a lot of fun, and I love playing in big crowds like that. But Mississippi State, they were tough. I mean, they were a good team, but I think hands down it was South Carolina because they sold out a 20,000 seat arena every time, and every time I touched the ball in that arena, it was booze. Every time I touched it, and so
Wow.
I had to be police escorted to places because people hated me so much. So I
Really?
love that type of stuff. Yeah.
Did you hear what she said, AG? She
Yes.
needed a police escort. Now, that because the sweet Sophie, or because they were saying she just killing us. We don't even want her to play today.
Right.
Not so they were number one in the nation, and Mizzou was the only one to beat them back to back. And
Oh.
I hit a buzzer beater against them my sophomore year, and then junior year they came in and we beat them. And Dawn, maybe she still likes me. Or she likes me now, but she did not like me. Oh gosh, and it was just bad. So we had bad blood, but that was a fun rivalry. But every time you went down there, yeah, I was getting threats left and right. So police were outside our hotel, like anywhere in the arena, I had to be like police escorted. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I love that stuff. I love that. I love it.
During your time, did y'all play KU?
No.
Interesting.
I know. I wish they would have. My junior year there, the men started having that border battle again,
Yes.
and it was awesome. Like it was so cool, but they wouldn't fund the women's. They wouldn't let us go. But I would have loved to, because that is one of the best rivalries. I swear, it's one of the best.
It's crazy. You would think they would have really had a battle of the state, because it could have been you guys, K-State, KU, and probably even throw St. Louis in there.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been.
It would have been good. I'm telling you.
Yes.
The crowds around just all the rivalries, like it would have been awesome. But I don't know why they don't. They need to.
Yeah, like I think that would be a great, like if those teams was just in a tournament by itself, like some type of weekend thing in Missouri, that would bring the state from, I mean, people from all different parts of the state to see, because some people are alumni at St. Louis University, some at Mizzou, and man, that would be really nice.
One we still have is actually Illinois, that border battle, and that.
Oh yeah, that.
So that's a good one. And I never knew that was like a thing, but nothing's like the KU-MU thing. But now I get the Illinois one, so I got to play in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when Illinois play, like they play for something, like there's a
big trophy.
A big trophy or something.
Yeah. So that one's a good one. But
so you had a chance to play in the March Madness tournament, the women's, and I went to college. I never got to a tournament. What's that experience like? Your first one?
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. I will say, like, that's all I ever, and I'm saying this very humbly, it's all I ever knew. But the other girls who were there before, they're like, you do not want to go to that NIT. Like, you do not want to do that. And I was like, okay, well, we need to win games then, because my ass is not going there, and you're not either. And so just like the hotels, the way that you get treated, the food you eat, the gear that you get, It's just really nice. It's a nice presentation. But that's the best of the best. And each year we made it farther and farther. But no, it was a really cool experience. We went down to Texas my freshman year and made it to the second round, then played Texas, which they're always, pretty good. But it was awesome. I'm blessed with a lot of great experiences, and that's definitely one of them.
Beautiful, beautiful.
What is your take on, even when you were playing and even up to now, the media coverage of the women's game? Do you think it's gotten better? Do you see improvements? And if so, what can be done?
Yeah, I think each year, you try to fight to just get a little more attention. And I think with social media, kind of people seeing what the men get compared to what the women get, that kind of opens up people's eyes of like, oh, well, we didn't know that. And
Right.
how would people know? They're not in it every day like we were. And so I think the more that you can just spread awareness, you kind of get a little more because people see you're just not treated the same. But I know COVID was bad for a lot of people, but for me, being in the WNBA and the coverage that we got, our viewing went out the roof, and it's still that way because people had nothing else to do, and they actually put us on the ESPN channels, the big channels that people watch sports on, and now that people saw and watched us, they like it, but I mean. It's super hard before the pandemic. It was super hard to even get a game on the TV. Like my parents have a subscription, but they could barely watch it because it's always blacked out. And so they make it so hard for people to watch our games. And no wonder why people aren't going to watch us because the channel is not even, you can't even see anything.
Can't even see anything.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the WNBA has got to be better. But I think just with partnerships and COVID, people want to support us and they want to put us on their channels. And so pandemic sucked for a lot of reasons, but I think for women in sport, it helped us quite a bit.
And you guys had a powerful movement during the pandemic with the social justice platform that I think really elevated the women's game from a social movement perspective. What was that like for you during that time?
I think you can ask anyone who was in the bubble that was probably like the worst experience that anyone had ever been a part of. Just the bubble itself. Like it was very isolating. Our bubble compared to the men's bubble was like, you can't even compare the two. Like ours was absolutely terrible. And, but I think it was bad. It was really bad. But I think we were doing it for something bigger and we all came together as a whole league. And I think that was some of the meetings we had and some of the nights we were all gathered together was some of the most powerful things that I have ever done. Like it gives me chills and for us, like no one has ever been in that type of situation before. And it's always compete. Like we don't like them, like da-da-da-da. But for us to all come together and become friends and actually get to know each other off the court and fight for something bigger than ourselves, I think will always give me chills. Like it was awesome. It was so fun to be a part of.
I could just imagine what that was like. I was just getting chills listening to you talk about it.
Yeah, we want to thank you for that because you guys had the greatest impact. I think it even motivated the NBA to step up their game. And speaking of that, why do you think that the money is not the same for the NBA versus the WNBA? Whether it be salaries, whether you was talking a little bit earlier, the TV exposure, even the endorsements. What do you think is the hold on that?
Honestly, it's us WNBA players, we go overseas to make all of our money because in other cultures and other countries, they don't care if you're man or women. If you're putting good product on the court and you're competing and it's fun, people are going to show up and you're going to get paid for the work you put in. And I think it's the culture. And here in America, our culture just doesn't. That's not how we operate. That's not, and we get better every year. But it's a culture problem, I think. And our CBA, which is like people who are listening, it's an agreement between the league and the players. And the CBA, it was terrible. And we had it for like 20 years. And we just now got a new CBA switched. And so we have more perks and we're getting more money and we're seeing a lot of that money. But I didn't know this. Say one of you have a jersey and I want to buy it. 50% and it's $100. You get $50 and the league gets $50. Where if you go and buy my jersey, the league gets $100 and I see 0% of it. And
Really?
so, yeah, so it's not really a money issue. It's the percentages of what revenue we see and what we don't see. And so that's our fight. And a lot of people think, like, we're not asking to get paid like the men. Like, we're not dumb. We're not dumb people. We will never get paid. No one will ever have a $30 million contract. Like, that's not it. But our fight is just kind of getting our percentages right, so we can see a little bit of the revenue that we do make.
So if we go and buy a Sophie Cunningham jersey, you won't see a penny of it.
Nothing.
Interesting.
Nothing. But it's getting switched. So hopefully I will down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fight. You gotta kind of fight every day for it. But I try not to get too involved in it. And I know it's a problem, but you could beat yourself up and go round and round about why we're not getting paid the way we get paid. But at the end of the day, like, I'm healthy, I'm blessed. I dribble a ball for a living. I can go overseas and make a ton more money and live very, very comfortably. A lot of my teammates make millions of dollars overseas. And so my motivation is, just keep working hard, get better every day, and I'll end up where I'm supposed to end up. And hopefully it's better for the next generation behind us, and we can set them up for a little bit better than what we had it.
Awesome.
Well, listen, we have this segment, Sophie. We call it halftime. We're going to hit you with some quick hitters, and we want to hear what you think. But I got to ask you this question first. What's up with you and Nelly? Look, you see that, AG? She blushing, AG.
I love Nelly. And you would think that somewhere in between this, like, we've been to the same place that we have never met, and I need to make that happen. I need to meet Nelly.
Nelly, you gotta reach out to Sophie.
Yeah.
So what are your top 3 favorite rappers or musicians?
Ooh, that's good. I love Drake. I think he's good. Love him. But y'all know I'm from the country, so I like my country. I like Luke. I know y'all don't know do you know who Luke Combs is?
I listen to him every day.
No, I know you're lying. Luke Combs, Kenny Chesney. I love all types of music, but it just depends. Like, when I'm home and you're on a back road and I listen to country.
Well, give me your top 3 favorite country artists.
Ooh, love Blake Shelton. He's good. Luke Combs and Kenny Chesney. Those are my guys.
There it is.
Luke, Blake, and Kenny.
So basic, huh?
Okay. Give us your favorite movies or TV shows.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so I'm by myself a lot because we travel a lot. So I cannot watch anything scary or that will, like, make me freaked out. And so I have to, I can't, because I will literally, I'm by myself all the time. And even though I'm a bigger girl and I try to act tough, deep down I'm like, shit, someone help me. Like, there's something in my closet. You know what I mean? And so I have to, like, I gotta go with, like, the feel good shows. So I'm more of like a Netflix is like my best friend, Sweet Magnolia, Virgin River, the lighthearted things that I can, Yellowstone. Have you guys seen Yellowstone?
No,
I glanced at it.
I've seen the advertising for it. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, well, everyone loves it. So you guys just have to give it a chance. It's really good. So those are my shows.
Your favorite cities to travel to?
Ooh, that's a good one. Honestly, Phoenix and Scottsdale is pretty fun. Not gonna lie. Love it down there. Love Chicago. We grew up playing a lot of ball there, so that's a fun one. I can do New York for a little bit, but then there's just way too many people and not enough, like, greenery, so I got to get out of there. But Miami, I'm a beach girl. Like, I love the ocean, so anywhere where there's water, I'm for it. So
okay. Who is the toughest player to guard?
Ooh, that's good. Well, I hate guarding the little shits. I hate that. I'd much rather guard a big girl than, like, people who are going to break my freaking ankles.
Right.
But, a tough guard, Diana Taurasi, I have to play against her every day, and she's tough. Like, her IQ is out the roof. And so I think she's probably the toughest guard I've ever had to guard.
Yeah, you got to guard her in practice every day.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I have, like, freaking bruises because she's just as dirty, and oh my gosh, so sometimes I got to get her back too. But I know she's a little older and fragile, so I have to be careful.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a tough one here. Favorite teammate?
Ooh, I have to go with BG. I love my teammate, and our team is so fun this year, and we all get along. But BG's my girl. She's my fave.
Shout out to Brittney Griner.
Yeah. I need to get her on the show. Y'all would get along. Let me tell you, she's great.
We'd love to have her. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. AG about to hit you with one though.
Who has better barbecue, Missouri or Texas?
Nah, KC, boy. All the way. That's not even a competition.
She said, I ain't even a competition, AG.
What's your spot? When you like you're home now, where you go?
Honestly, if you just go down the highway and you see barbecue, it's gonna be freaking good. But I'm serious. It's just, and that's why everyone's like, why are you so like sturdy? I'm like, well, if you go home and eat in my hometown, you're going to gain 15 pounds. So get your little skinny ass over there and eat some barbecue.
You know, I actually thought you was going to say, oh, I go to Gates Barbecue all the time.
Hey, but it's so good. It's so good.
It is good. It is good.
Yeah.
I still order their barbecue sauce. I still have it shipped in.
Sophie, let me ask you this about barbecue. Do you put sauce on a steak or no?
Oh,
no
yeah.
sauce.
I'm all for the sauces. I'm
a no sauce guy. Like I like it to just come right off the grill and just put it on my plate while it's sizzling and popping. No sauce.
It's still good that way, but I'm obsessed with A1 sauce. I do not know why. So it could be the best steak that needs nothing, but I'm still putting A1 on it.
Really?
Sophie, you just stole my heart. My family don't understand why I like A1 sauce. I'm like, I love it.
Good. So good.
You like A1 sauce, Will? I never knew that.
I love it. I love it. Since I was a kid, I love it. That's what I put on my steak, A1 steak sauce. Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, thank you for playing halftime with us.
Yes. So now we're going to just talk about your WNBA career. You are a professional doing the thing that you love to do, and that just got to be, amazing. Give us the draft night.
Okay, so good. We all went up to New York because that was before all this pandemic, so it was back to like the normal lifestyle where you could do that, and it was awesome. It was honestly a really busy day because they take you all around the Empire State, but like all these different places, and then they give you about 3 hours to get ready, which is I need like 5 minutes, but everyone else is real bougie, so go put on your lashes and whatnot. So they gave us 3 hours. They had people to do our hair, makeup. They made it real fun for us. And draft night, it's so weird because you just don't know, because I was predicted to go maybe second or third depending on what the team decided to do. So like you could literally go anytime, and but I didn't go until the third. Was it 13th? I don't know. Was it 13th?
Yeah,
I think 13. I was 13. I don't even know. And so you just kind of like waiting, and you're just anxious because you talk to all these teams, and you get along with everyone. And actually, the only team I didn't talk to was Phoenix, and that's who drafted me. So kind of weird. Yeah.
So is it like the men's where you guys can go and work out for teams before the draft?
After the championship game, all those girls who were going to the draft, they had to fly in that next day, and the draft was like that next day. So you literally go from college straight to the draft, straight to your team. So we get no break, like absolutely no break at all. And so it's kind of a tough transition. And they always say rookie year, that's when you see everyone kind of getting hurt and whatnot, because you've been going for 20 plus years and you don't get a break, but until you kind of get out of that rookie stage, then you kind of know how to balance your workouts.
Because you didn't go visit Phoenix or talk to them, who did you think was going to pick you?
Yeah, well, I thought I was going to Seattle. So, which I would love to, that it has Stewie, has Sue Bird. I fit in with their system. They come up, it's just a bunch of shooters, and I love their coach. I just love the way they do stuff. And so I thought I was going to be going with them. But then my agent's like, hey, you're probably, right before they're like, I think you're going to Phoenix. And I was like, what? Like, we didn't talk. I don't know. And so then when I went to Phoenix, which I'm lucky. I mean, I was either going to Stewie and Sue Bird or BG and Diana. So it's a toss up. Like everyone's great. So I've learned from the best either way.
Second round, 13th overall pick. the second round's a little bit different in the WNBA. I mean, I'm sure you were excited because you got picked. But then once, and like you say, there's no time off. So when you were the second round 13 pick, what was your mind? Did you like, okay, I got to go to work now?
Yeah. So it's weird though, because our class was stacked. So if any of us were split up, we all would have been, first, second, third, fourth. But we had a great class. Like we were tough. And so just to be in the same conversation as some of those people was a blessing. But I knew that I wanted more. And so, it is a lot going from college straight to the draft, straight to Phoenix. But I mean, you got to do it. And it was tough. And you don't get much time with your family. You don't get to say goodbye to everyone. You kind of just get shipped off. But to me now it's normal, because after the WNBA season, you get 10 days max, and then you're shipped off to a country that doesn't even speak your language. So you just kind of get numb to it. But I don't think anyone really loves that. But it's just something we have to do as women.
Who was in that draft?
Arike was in that draft. Katie Lou, Nafisa, Kalani Brown, which I think she's actually out of the league now. Her dad, is it PJ Brown or something? He played in the league for a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, half of them aren't even in the W anymore, but at the time our class was stacked. So
you see how she told us about, well, everyone, to get you ready, you got to go over there and get ready for draft night. Me, I'm not that. I'm looking at draft night picture right here.
Guys, sometimes I don't always look like I just fed the chickens, even though I don't have chickens.
I think that took more than 5 minutes.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
I didn't say. I said I can get ready in 5 minutes. That night it did not.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Let's keep it there on draft night, though. I mean, because COVID was going on, how did the WNBA handle that?
This past year?
Yeah.
They just did it from home. So it's kind of like what we were doing.
Well, no, I'm talking about your year.
Oh, my year? Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it was awesome. They brought you in, there's a red carpet, cameras everywhere. There's food, I think. I have no idea. But then you just get to your table, and kind of what you guys see on TV is how it is. And then after you get drafted, you kind of go through a whole bunch of interviews, pictures. It takes a while. I think it lasted, around 5 to 6 hours. So it's a long night.
Wow.
But when your adrenaline's going, you're happy, you know where you're going to be placed. And so it's an awesome experience. And for them to be able to have like your family and everything there, it makes it even better. But it is funny because a lot of people are like, oh, like what was your signing bonus? And I was like, well, we get a hat. We get a hat in the draft. So there is no signing bonus.
What was your signing bonus? It was a Phoenix Mercury hat.
Yeah, super fun.
Wow. So after being drafted, how long after did you have to get to Phoenix?
So you drafted that night. We left real early that morning, and then I got 2 days to pack all my stuff up and head out there. So It's a pretty back-to-back thing. So
you land in Phoenix and you get there, like, you like, oh man, it's the sun and the valley and the sun. Like,
well, it's weird though, because in college, everything, your schedule's set up for you, and there's food always there. Like they tell you, they plan your schedule, so you kind of just follow what they tell you to do, right? Well,
right.
I know, like when I got there, I was like, so where's the food? And they're like, well, you got to go get it. And I'm like, so, it was a learning experience for sure. But they, Diana took me under her wing a little bit. BG definitely did. And so they kind of show you the ropes, and it's like you're a freshman all over again. And so a lot of people don't talk about it, but that transition of, college, you're the star, you're the go-to, like, you kind of rule the roost. Like you do what you want, and then you're humbled again. And you got to kind of figure out what role you are. You have to own that role, even if you don't like it. And it's kind of a roller coaster, but I just try to stay right in the middle. But it's a lot easier said than done. And especially when you're so far away from home and you don't know anyone in that city, and
Mm-hmm.
particularly, it does still get kind of lonely because our team wasn't very close that year either. So
Mm.
we would go to the gym and we would practice, and then you didn't hear from anyone until the next day. Like no one hung out, nothing. So it was a weird transition.
Did you have to find your own place to live and all of that? Like,
So during training camp, as a rookie, you live in a hotel for like a month until the final roster, and then they put you in team housing. Which our team housing was, I mean, they treat us really well. Like our team housing was great. And then actually, my sister decided to just take a year off
mm-hmm.
because she was deciding what she wanted to do at the time, and so she actually came and moved with me down there. So that made it way more fun.
Oh yeah.
So we had a good time, you know.
I know you felt more comfortable when Big Sis come there. Like, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So that was fun, but it is they treat you well. You know, they put you in nice living. We travel well, we eat well, and they take care of us. But that transition period, no one talks about it. So you're kind of just thrown in there, and you have no idea what the hell to do.
Mhm.
So I wish that they would maybe change that a little bit. But I'm trying to help the people who come in so they don't have to kind of go through it we went through because it's hard.
So you fulfilled the hoop dream, drafted, getting ready to be, you're in Phoenix now. What was it like when you first saw that uniform with your name on it?
Mm-hmm.
And what was that first practice like?
Yes. Okay. So when you see, well, it was practice first because you had to officially make it, you know? So that
Mhm.
first practice, it's, you don't know what to expect. You don't know if it's going to be super hard. You don't, one of the first things they tell you actually while you're in New York during the draft, they're like, don't be starstruck because if you be like, hey, can I get a picture? Can I do whatever? They're definitely busting your ass in practice. Like that's something you
Mm.
don't do. And so, you are like, oh, these are the people you kind of grow up watching and you want to be like, but now you're one of them. So you got to act like it, you know, even though deep down you're like, oh, hey, you know, like,
Yes, yes, yes.
uh,
That's Diana Taurasi.
I know, right? And it was kind of not intimidating, but like you wanted to make sure that you were on your game to impress them, to show them that you could play, you know, even though they know
Mhm.
you can play. But no, our first practice was intense, but honestly, it was not hard. Like our WNBA practices are the easiest practices that you'll ever do. They say college is the hardest step, and it
Mhm.
is. It is, but they destroy your body in college. And here it's more of, I mean, you're a professional. You know what you need, and if you want extra work in the weight room or on the court, that's what you do. And so that was kind of something you have to get used to too, because you're not
Hmm.
being told that you need to be here and it's mandatory. So, but first practice was fun.
Now that uniform.
Uniform.
When you saw Sophie, when you saw Cunningham on the back of that uniform.
I was just almost relieved and happy because you work your tail off, and it's still like, you know, you're on the team, but you don't officially know you're on the team and until they, you know, call your number pretty much. And it was just like a sigh of relief, but it was more of, I just felt very grateful to be there because it
Mhm.
wasn't just me that was representing that jersey. It was all the people that have poured into me over the past, you know, 20 something years. And it's almost like their dream came a reality too. And it's still kind of surreal, and you can't take it for granted because, you know, you could be cut like that, or you could get injured like that and never play another game in your life. And so I try not to take it for granted. But when I first saw that jersey, it was just, I felt super blessed and felt just happy, you know, like you made it, you
Yeah.
finally did it. So your childhood dream came true.
Well, I have to tell you this too, Sophie. One of our female Chicago legends played with Phoenix and won a chip with him, Cappie Pondexter.
Yeah, I know who she is.
This girl, let me tell you, she went to my school and I was going already, but this girl in high school as a freshman, she had the WNBA logo tattooed on her, and she said, "This is where I'm going." And this girl came upstairs and played with all dudes every day. She played with the boys' basketball team.
Yeah.
And then when it was time for the girls' practice, she would leave our gym and then go downstairs and practice with the girls.
Mhm.
But she was so far advanced with the girls who she was playing with because her body movements and everything was like a dude's, like because she played with guys like that. So when we saw her go to college, we just knew she gonna be in the WNBA, and she went.
Mhm.
So I was so proud of her when she went to Phoenix. They still have her jersey, her championship jersey, in our school case.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, her picture and all, I mean, they've won 3 championships down there and she was a part of it. And so her picture is everywhere in our arena. So that's cool. I didn't know y'all went to the same school. That's awesome.
I tell you this though, you guys have, and I just got to say it the best way I can say this, one of the coldest uniforms. Those black ones with the PHX, them things, them some beast of some uniforms.
They are.
I'm like, oh my goodness, Nike done did something this year with them uniforms. I'm like, I like those. Y'all don't wear them enough though.
I know. Well, and we get to decide what we wear. I'm like, and everyone's like, why are we wearing these freaking whites and whatever? Like everyone loves the black ones.
Yes.
And we play good in the black. So it's like, what are we doing? So it's common sense. People don't really have common sense anymore. But I know the black ones are nice.
Yes.
So Sophie, you have a chance to play with one of the best female ballers of all time in the White Mamba, Diana Taurasi. How is she as a teammate?
Absolutely love her, but she is intense. Like on the court, I'm telling you that the way she thinks, I've never seen anything like it. And I have a high IQ, you know, and I've been around people who have higher IQs than I do, but it's out the roof. I'm telling you, like she is 4 plays ahead of everyone. She coaches our team. She's the one who calls the plays. She's the one who does all that. But
damn,
yeah, she's intense and she's oh God, she's kind of an asshole. Like she is. I would hate to be playing against her. I'm so happy I'm her teammate. But at the same time, she's one of the nicest humans you'll ever meet outside the court. Like she's in the community. She's good. She's a vegan. She makes fun of me that I eat meat. And I'm like, you wouldn't be hurt as much as if you would just eat a steak. Like eat it. But
wow. Just eat it.
Yeah, we have a great relationship. So we make fun of each other all the time. But she just to say I'm her teammate and for everything that she's done and accomplished, and she's not done yet. I mean, that's something I'm going to cherish forever. I mean, I try to be a sponge around here, try to soak up all her knowledge. So
from what you just said, I was going to ask you, did she have a Mamba mentality? But what you just said, she does.
Yeah, she does. 100%.
You have to be an asshole sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like you have to, like, and stay on your teammates. Like a lot of people didn't understand that about Kobe, but I'm so glad he you know, he was just a different type of dude that was able to transcend his outlook on wanting to be great. And so many other people wanted to follow that. Like once they found out what it was and how you have to be and how great you know, just go do it, you know, do it every day. You know, I bet Diana, because she's where she at now, that's why she's had all the success that she's having, because she has that Mamba mentality.
I wish I would have been teammates with her in her prime, because I think that would have been like badass. But she's getting a little older now, and so she's still herself. But I'm telling you, like everyone will be talking, and once she starts talking, it's like coaches, our GM, our owner, everyone just like goes silent, and it's like
mad respect.
Respect. So she earned it, baby. She earned it.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this: so your rookie year, you playing? When did you get starstruck on the court doing a game, and who was it?
I promise you, I'm not trying to be like this, but I really don't get starstruck, and I don't know why. But if I had to pick oh, that's kind of cool that I'm about to play her, it'd probably be Brianna Stewart or Elena Deladon and Stewart. Like they're just so good, and you see them all the time. But for me, it was like, oh, like that's cool, you know. But I was never like, oh, like, you know what I mean. So, but I mean, they're just really good players, and I actually got to meet Kobe my rookie year, and we were about to practice, and that was starstruck, I would say, because it's like, holy shit, like Kobe Bryant's in our locker room. So what happened? We were all about to practice, and our coach comes out and she's like, "Hey, everyone get in the locker room now. Like we have a celebrity guest." And I was like, "What? Like we just don't stop practice for anyone." And so we're all like, "Oh, like who's here?" And freaking Kobe walks in with the little mamacitas, and we're like, "Oh shit! Like this is awesome."
I bet you was like, "Oh yeah, we could stop practice for this." Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Now that was surreal. And that was awesome.
Did you get a chance to take a picture with him?
Yeah, and it was weird because of his little Gianna Gigi, he was watching women's basketball, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I watched you play all the time." He's like, "You're feisty," like, and I was like for him to like know was pretty cool. And so we got to talk for a little bit, and we got to see all the girls and whatnot. So I guess when you have Diana on your team too, and BG, you kind of get those special guest appearances. And so there's a perk for you. So it was nice.
Even though I often wonder how much more the women's game would be progressed by now if Kobe was still there, because he became a super champion for the game. And literally, just by him sitting on the sidelines with the WNBA logo sweaters on, really redefined the exposure for the game. So he
100%.
he is truly missed. Absolutely.
But he was even a trailblazer now, because now, LeBron and other people are starting to kind of step up for where he's not anymore. But I mean, I wish that we could have seen what he would have done to help our league and his daughter, because I know it would have, skyrocketed. But
absolutely,
everyone else has got to step up now. So we'll see.
Talk to us a little bit about the WNBA culture.
Yeah. So they pride themselves on diversity, and it's actually really cool. Like, everyone feels included. Everyone just feels welcomed, and you can totally be yourself in our league, which is great. And there's only 144 of us, so we are a really small league, and super small. And I think they're talking about expanding and getting another team, because there's just so much talent in the world for us to only have 12 teams in the best league. Our culture is great. We all support each other. And I think last year in the bubble, it kind of shows like how close all of us really are. And when you put all of us get our minds on the same page, I think it's pretty powerful. So our culture is strong, and I'm sure there's a lot more to fight for, and we're probably going to do it. So we'll see what happens.
How the hell you going to only have 12 teams and you got damn near 30 plus NBA team? I always felt that the WNBA and the NBA, if they have a team, a male team in that city, they should have a female team in that city. And I think that economic development together, you know what I'm saying? It would close the gap some. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just think about it. We don't even, Chicago, we just got one, the Chicago Sky, but other teams, don't have a female league, a female team.
Yeah. And it's weird though, because LA, the Sparks and the Lakers, they do, but they have nothing to do with each other. Like, the Sparks are owned by someone completely different. So it's weird. But if you talk to, like, I'm friends with a lot of the NBA guys, and they're all for it. Like, the best of the best, they support us, and they think that we should be treated better too, and that there should be more teams. But it's just like your average Joe who kind of, those are the trolls that you have to go against, the people who do know nothing about basketball. Right. You know what I mean? But it's funny, but I hope that we get a couple more teams, and that's what the league is talking about, is expanding a little more, because there's just so much talent that it's not fair to only have 144 girls in the league.
I just have to ask you this, but because you're not that far removed from it, but in 2017, I don't know if you read the Candace Wiggins article, but she talked about how, I believe it's like 90% of the NBA was a certain type of way, and that she was feeling, pressure and stuff like that. Did you give any relevance to that? You think that there's any truth to her statement, or it's just her opinion?
Amongst players, like, you're fine. Like, you don't think about that.
You don't think about it, right?
No, and our team is really close, and like we all have a really good time. Like, it's fun, but it's kind of the league. They choose who they want to spotlight and who they want to be the face of the WNBA. It's a very political game, and you guys know that. Everything you do is super political, and so if you're good, then they're gonna spotlight you sometime. You know what I mean? And so I just kind of try to stay in my lane and do my thing, and one day I'll get there.
Did you ever have to have a regular job and try to hoop at the same time? And how was basketball culture in Australia?
Oh yeah. Okay. Honestly, no. And even growing up, our parents were like, sports are your job. And they're like, you put all your effort, you give your best effort, and it'll pay off for you. Like, college is expensive, and both of us got full rides. And so that just doesn't happen. You got to put in the work for it. And so we were blessed in that aspect of just being able to focus on sports. My sister did sports in school. I say I just did sports. But so that was my thing. And then in the WNBA or the professional, I still just play ball. I've never had another job. During the pandemic, I actually did some ESPN work. So that's kind of cool to get your foot in the door and find different passions that I have that I didn't know I had because I've always just played basketball. So that honestly was kind of eye-opening, and I enjoyed that. But Australia was awesome. Have you guys ever got to go?
Yeah, I've been there.
Y'all don't have to single me out, okay? I haven't been.
What part of Australia were you in?
So I played in the WNL or NBL over there. So I was based in Melbourne. It's Melbourne, but they say Melbourne. But I got to go to all the different states. So it was really cool. It was so fun.
Yes, beautiful city. Beautiful city.
So pretty. But the sports world over there is tiny. Like basketball is a very small, like it's not really like it's a thing, but it's not. It's not like sports here in America. And but the culture and the people over there and just the views, it's awesome.
Was that your first overseas job in Australia?
Yeah.
So what was it like when you got out there and you crossed the street and you looked the wrong way?
Oh my gosh. And we were so Lindsay, my sister, got to come with me too. So because she just took the year off. So she got to come to Australia too. So fun. Oh my gosh. We had a blast over there. But just driving on the other side of the road was weird as hell. But you get used to it. And then I came back to America and I was messed up. I was driving how I drove in Australia. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like,
get out the way, Sophie. Get on the other side.
No, but that is something. They're always like watch how you look at the roads, because us Americans were always like, but it's like opposite, So,
yeah, we always look left. We look left regardless. We look left. So you look at left and traffic is coming at you.
I know. But.
So there is a lot of work still to do in the women's game. What do you think is going to help evolve it?
I think just kind of doing what we did last year in the bubble for Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, and just the social justice movement that we did is we just came together. And I think there needs to be more women in power because, we just do stuff a little different than y'all sometimes. And we just need a healthy balance. But I just think when we put a good balance, you need some strong men and you need some strong women. Like you need both. But I just think if we put our minds to something and push a movement and just make people aware, but I think most importantly, educate people. And I think once people get educated, that's when, they kind of realize like, oh, stuff does need to change. And so we're actually working on some stuff now to, raise awareness for that I'm not allowed to say yet, I guess. But I just think educating people and just making people aware of how things truly are.
How in terms of the game, can the game itself, what needs to happen? I mean, because again, it's interesting because not just from the women's game in terms of basketball, but any sport, how do you fix the salaries and those things? Because when you look at women's soccer that does extremely well, but still make far less than men.
Yeah.
How do you fix that gap?
It's weird. And I know you guys see it too, but just kids are getting more and more athletic. Like girls are dunking in 8th grade. It's, there's more dunks in our league than there's ever been. And we're more athletic. Like we're evolving as humans, as we should. But honestly, my viewpoint is, I think if you're an athletic girl and you feel like you are going to be a professional athlete, to get in the gym with the boys, like that's the way that we're going to expand our league. And any good ball player, that's what they did. We were in the gym with the guys, the soccer players, those girls, they were playing with the guys, and y'all make us better. And so I just think just keep pushing our limits, get outside of our boxes, get uncomfortable. And I think when you have really good players, like they're going to draw attention, especially with social media. I mean, social media is really good for some things and really bad for others. Yep. But I mean, when you're good and there's highlights, then people notice, girls can ball too. And we're not just female athletes, we're athletes, and we can kick your ass. You're a troll on the internet. Come one-on-one me, because I'll kick your ass every day. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, Sophie, talking about the swag of the NBA, and I don't know if you noticed, I think it was during the NCAA women's college tournament, and they were showing a young lady whose face was made up like she was finna go to a red carpet event, But she had her uniform on, and she got the lashes on, the makeup, the mascara. I mean, she was really done up. And then they showed another girl who just had her hair, and a headband on,
Yeah.
no makeup on, and she was like the girl, like, so what's the mentality of that in the league when you see another girl all dolled up? You like, I'm finna bust her ass with all that makeup on.
That is a real thing because it's weird because the girls nowadays, like, I say nowadays, I'm 3 years older than them, but like even them, they're all like done up, like they're like going out or red. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, absolutely not. I'm gonna slap that mascara right off your face. But I get looking cute. Like I get that. Like, look good, play good, feel good, all that type of stuff. But
right.
When you come off the court and you have like it caked on your jersey and all this stuff, it's like, girl, come on, you got to be doing something different.
It's safe to say Sophie don't get dolled up to hoop.
Not like that. Hell no. No.
Hey, Will, look, Sophie at the free throw line. Damn, let me take this last shot so I can see. Let me shoot this damn free throw.
Right.
Hey, I try to like have my hair cute, but I just get so sweaty and it gets in my way. I'm like, nah, I gotta.
Sophie like, I'm a ball player. Player. Let's hoop. We can't hit a hoop. Forget all that other stuff. Sophie, I want to change the subject real quick. And I know we're taking up so much of your time, and we only got a little bit more to go. But I want to throw something at you because I recently heard that you are a strong woman of faith.
Mm-hmm. Talk
to us a little bit about that.
Here, I grew up in the Catholic Church. I went to Catholic school forever, which I'm thankful. I learned a lot, but now I'm just, Christian. I'm just my own thing, I guess. But I just feel like it's Coach Pinchton at Mizzou and my teammates. We were a very faith-based team in college, which is kind of unheard of. Like all of us were Christians, and we'd have Bible studies before games or after practice just to kind of have a relationship, not like way outside of basketball, something deeper, something that's lasting that you can hold on to forever. Because those basketball memories, yes, you hold on to them, but when you can build a relationship just outside of sport, it's different. And so I owe my where I am with my faith today to my teammates and my coaches for helping me out, because I was just kind of, I believed, I was a believer, but I never really practiced it and wasn't that great of a Catholic girl, I guess. But no, I think it's led me, it keeps me grounded. If I didn't have my faith, who knows, I'd go crazy. Like in this league and a part of the career I choose, you don't really have a home. You don't know where you're going to be. You could be traded tomorrow. It's hard to be in a relationship because, again, you don't know where you're at. And so, you're alone a lot of the time. And so I'm really grateful for my relationship I have in Christ. And honestly, the more that I share that, more people are like, we are so happy that you share this type of stuff, because we didn't know that you could be in the WNBA and, be a Christian. Like we just didn't think that you could do that. And because there's not a lot of us in the league. And so it's not always been easy, but I feel like I'm perfectly placed, and I'm a light in the locker room. And I didn't know if I really wanted to go back, because the past 2 years have been hard in Phoenix, honestly. But I just kind of gave it all to him. I'm like, if I'm meant to be here, I'm here. And this year has been the best year yet. And so I'm thankful, I'm blessed. But I rely a lot on him, and poor thing, because I'm crazy. So
I don't think you're crazy. First of all, I just want to commend you and encourage you. You probably didn't know this, but I'm a pastor. So I want to encourage you and commend you and tell you, I understand it takes a lot to be a public believer and to walk the walk of faith in your environment, in any environment that is what we would consider secular, does come with its challenges and issues. And I commend you for staying in there and standing on your grounds and holding firm to your beliefs, because I do think that will be the thing that moves you past all of the headaches, the setbacks, the misunderstandings, the difficulties, the drawbacks. And so far, you've been riding it strong. So.
Well, I appreciate that, because, it's funny that you're around all these, famous people who have lots of money, who could have everything that people dream of. And even some of my teammates who have all that, they come up to me and they're like, how are you so happy? How are you so fulfilled? And I'm like, girl, give me that paycheck. Like what's the situation? But it's funny. They have everything. And I tell them, I'm like, I'm a believer. I have a strong faith. And it's funny because now some of my teammates are interested and maybe I'm not there for basketball. Maybe I'm there to spread his word, to spread his light more. But then you have other teammates who make fun of it. You know what I mean? And so, but I'm not one to like get in arguments. I'm like, hey, it is what it is. Like, I don't care. You're not going to discourage me. And so it's weird, but I'm there for a reason, and it is tough. So, but I appreciate your words. I thank you for that.
And I think the difference is you've gone from, and I think what they've been asking you is why they're saying you look different and you feel different is because you figured out how to go from success to significance, and they're still in success. Mm-hmm. And you can have all the success in the world and be very unhappy. But when you figure out the significance of why you are here, that changes, though. Everything becomes different. The game, you see it differently. Life, you see differently. Friends, you see differently. So I just wanted to commend you on that. But I heard that from a little birdie. So I want to get that in there so that you get the opportunity to share your faith publicly.
Well, thank you.
So thank you.
We got to talk about the women crossing over into the men's head, coaching positions now. Becky Hammond comes to mind with the Spurs. How big of a win is that for women in sports?
I think it's huge. I think that, and not just in basketball, but you see kind of in the NFL and all sport, the hockey, like I say golf. I don't even know if, I don't know. Was there coaches in golf? But I know in the hockey leagues and football leagues and the NBA that we just bring a different perspective. I think, we are athletic, but we are more fundamental based and IQ based. Mm-hmm. And so just kind of having a different perspective, is healthy. And just like how we need men coaches in our league to give us a different perspective. And so we're smart. We know the game. So just for us to get that opportunity and for there to be more, kind of women in that power leadership position. I mean, shoot, I want to be an NBA coach now. Like I would love that. And, but there's the trailblazers, they're setting the tone for everyone else. And, you just got to make the generation behind you, set them up a little bit better than what you had it. And I think those women are doing that for me. So I'm appreciative. Yeah.
They didn't kick down the door, and I think it's going to be more to follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for
sure.
What's the ratio in the Mercury front office? Are there?
So we have all female coaches. Our front office, we have, honestly, they're all dudes, but they're good. They're good. And they're behind women. They support us because I know that some of the owners and some of the people, like, they're guy owners, but they want nothing to do with, the women's side. They just feel like they have to have it. But our people, they support us. And so, they're males. I don't have a problem with guys at all, but I'm just saying that they support us pretty well. So.
That's a good deal there. So the business side, broadcasting life, you done dabbled in that a little bit. Tell us about that. You did some work for ESPN. How was that?
So fun. So honestly, I had never, I was kind of thrown into the fire, and I didn't really, you hear games, but you don't really ever pay attention. Like, you hear what they're saying, but you're not the one having to speak. And so my first game, oh my gosh, I was blacked out the whole first half because I was like, I guess I was nervous. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And so I don't remember the first half of the game, and I will never rewatch it because I don't want to know what I sounded like. But I settled in, and it was really fun. Like, it was cool to kind of share my perspective and why people did things, because when, a lot of people who watch basketball or any sport, they don't know why they made that pass or why they made that move. Why are they playing defense this way? And so to explain it was kind of fun, and I liked it a lot.
So with the new rule and everything, how do you feel about student athletes able to make money off of their likeness?
Oh gosh, it kills me.
Really?
No. I like it, but I'm saying I'm 6 years late. Oh, man.
6 years late?
Dang. Oh my gosh.
Well, we feel you on that one.
It kind of hurts my soul a little bit. I'm like, come on. But no, good for them. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I think there's going to have to, eventually be some type of restriction or rules, because I don't know if you guys saw that Alabama quarterback who hasn't even played a game yet is already in seven figures. So it's like,
an endorsement
that's
deal.
insane. That's insane to me. But I mean, good for him. You know, I think that we should get paid more. There should be more perks, but shoot, that's wild to me.
And you think about what Alabama bring in, shit, $1 million.
Right?
That ain't even enough. Like
No.
he need to get some more added on to that
Right?
endorsement deal.
He hasn't played one game yet, and he's already in seven figures. That blows my mind.
So can you imagine what you would have did at Mizzou?
I can't think about it. I'll cry.
Sophie would have had her favorite shampoo endorsement deal. Hey, use Sophie shampoo.
Yeah.
That's right. So what about those other leagues, like the overtime league? Do you think the NCAA might be in a little trouble?
In other countries, they start playing professionally at, the age of like 14. Like you can get paid, and they here in America, to be a professional athlete, you have to go through school. You have to be in school. You have to go through college. For women, at least. You have to either be 21 or your junior year, and then you can leave. And so you kind of have to do that process. But overseas, they go pro real young, and I think that school's not for everyone. But I do think that 16's pretty young. There's a lot of lessons learned. But I mean, if do they still go to school in this overtime league?
That's what's interesting. They will pay for their education, so they don't miss out on. They're just getting paid handsomely.
I would do that.
But once they receive monies, they can't go back to college. Like they can't. That's the only thing. That's
to compete.
Kind of
they can't compete in college, so they will forfeit their eligibility.
Yeah. See, that's where I would do that, but there's something about playing in college too. There's something about being in that team environment and playing in front of thousands of people and kind of having, repping something that's bigger than yourself. So I think there's so much, I don't want people to miss out on those college experiences, but I mean, sometimes school's not for everyone, and this seems like a good thing, and you can still be educated. And
you don't have to go to college to be successful in life.
No,
there's been plenty people who've done it just regular, regular ways. So I say it always comes down to what's best for that individual.
100% agree with that.
But let me keep it there for a minute, because we had interviewed Seth Davis the other day, the CBS NCAA guy, and he had made a great comment, and he had mentioned that, we shouldn't be so hard on the NCAA, because he said it's not like that they have not provided great opportunities for people. And he said, yes, players are getting paid for their likenesses where they had never been done before. But he said, but in retrospect, school wasn't free. Like he's saying, you're getting a education paid for, you're getting stipends. You don't have to pay for travel, room and board. So he said in a lot of ways they were getting paid. Yeah. So he was saying that we really still should give the NCAA a break. He said they need to do better, and he said they should have done better. What's your take on it? Do you think or agree with him on that level?
I think to a certain extent I do. And I think that if you're a male, then you get treated different. That's just how our world is. It's our culture. Like you just get treated differently. And even when we were the most winningest team over there, and like we were running campus, like our football team stuck, like we were the team on campus. And even then they were still getting stuff that it's like, no, we should be getting that.
Right.
And so, and I think the NCAA does a lot, and yes, they pay for our education, they pay for travel, like that's great, but they also have billions and billions of dollars, and for them to not do simple things, and I think this weight room one, they're cheap, they're just cheap, and for this weight room thing, for that to even be a thing, and it's 2021, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Right, like, you need to catch some flack for that.
100%. And they're all about equality and that we give them all this stuff. It's like, no, this is where we're still at. You guys say this stuff, but deep down, like, y'all don't really care. Like you just want the money that the men bring in. And so for us as females, it's frustrating. Like, yes, they take care of us, but at the same time, it's like, we're glad that this happened because you're showing your ass, and that's how we've been treated. So I don't know. So I do agree, but they could be better. They're $1 billion company. Like,
absolutely. Which, by the way, is a non-for-profit organization.
Yeah. Set up under the 501c3 Act.
That's right.
What?
You guys are funny.
Share with us a little bit about what you do with the Unlearning Network. Talk to us about the Sophie Cunningham podcast.
All right. Well, y'all got to be guests.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Honestly, it's not. I haven't even had my first guest yet, but that's happening next week, and so we're starting to get a roll on it. But it's just gonna kind of talk about athletes. I'm gonna have athletes on there. Females who were athletes and where they're at now, males too. But kind of just telling people a story outside of just being an athlete. Like, I want people to really get to know the authentic selves of people, because I think people are really hard on athletes, but we're humans, and I think it's really cool what sport has taught a lot of people and how they the transition stage of how they apply all those things they've learned into what they do now. And it's just going to be a thing for young girls and young guys just to, have confidence in yourself and learn from our experiences and things that we would do differently, the highs, the lows, things you need to do, things to probably stay away from. And so it's more of like a transition stage, but also mentoring, but it's going to be lighthearted. It's going to be fun and authentic, but it's going to be deep, but not at the same time. So we'll see how it goes. So
in other words, it's going to be the Sophie table.
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to get in trouble. I already know that this should not be called that, because I'm going to get in trouble. So we'll see.
Sophie, do you kind of see yourself moving into the broadcasting world after your playing days?
I think so. But I really don't. I don't know. I'm open. I'm not set in stone in anything. I know I want to help people. I know I want to give back. I would love to be a coach, but honestly, I cannot coach high schoolers or anything below. But my sister could. She got all the patience. I don't have enough patience, but I would love to be a college coach, but the lifestyle is hard. And for me to hopefully I play another 8 years, 10 years. But once I'm done moving all over the place, I doubt that I'm going to want to continue that lifestyle. Like, I eventually want to find a husband and have a family. And so I would love to go the broadcasting journalism route. I think that'd be really fun, but I don't know. I'm just kind of open. I'm just kind of being where my 2 feet are at the moment. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Sophie, we want to thank you for being on the show, but my man AG got one more question for you.
Oh, I'm nervous.
We want to thank you so much for being on our show. The second WNBA female we've had on our show. Must say, you are a very inspiring young lady. You made up in your mind at a young age that you wanted to go and do something, and you went every level and did it to the best of your ability. And that is so inspiring to us and to our viewers and listeners. Absolutely. Because they can look at your story, at your life, and say, wow, this girl made up her mind and she went and did something. I'm quite sure she had hardships and stuff like that, but she stuck with it and got to her hoop dream. So my last question is, what's the next chapter in Sophie's hoop dream?
To learn how to dunk. Can someone give me a better hop? I don't know. I don't know. I think I would love just to be an all-star, to leave my mark on the league. And I know I've always had to work extra hard, but I'm willing to do it. And I think I can do that. And so I'm going to put my mind to it and hopefully be a Hall of Famer one day. Why not? Why not? So that's it. Thank you so much. I feel like we'd all get along real well, so maybe we can make that happen.
I'm the goat of my era. I've been a trending topic. I'm as fly as a feather. My pocket's macroscopic. See, with time I get better. I'm always in the action, kid. Know I got it locked from Chicago, where the toughest live. Concrete jungle, earn my stripes on the pavement there. You make it here, then you can make it anywhere. No comparison. Your game is embarrassing. No one can touch me. I'm all for going there again. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Arthur Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.
Hoop Dreams the podcast, an Unlearning Network production. Written and produced by Arthur Agee, Will Gates, Matt Hoffer, with audio engineering from Matt Savage. For more episodes, check us out at www.unlearningnetwork.com.
Gotta be a dog to survive in this cold weather. Ice in my veins, no need for a warm sweater. I'm coming for it all, best believe I won't let up, yeah. Hey, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Arthur Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Arthur Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.